Is it a deal or is it no deal? I just think that'd be too brutal.
That'd be pretty brutal.
It's just like, you know what?
Are we doing headphones?
I think
You don't have to know.
Okay.
Who would come into the show if you did that?
It'd be intriguing to the
It's like, what's the deal? This deal sucks.
Yeah.
Zach, what do you think? Shit deal. I'd never joined it.
See, that's what you guys should do, actually. That'd be pretty badass.
The further you get from vanilla down the road, the more intrigued people get.
Yeah.
So more
Yeah.
controversy is actually good.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, you don't want to be a dick, but you do want it to be
True.
not vanilla.
Yeah, last one was testing my patience. We'll start being less vanilla with this guy. So you're rolling down in the back.
I believe we are rolling. We're on Facebook Live for all of you guys in the audience that are watching us, including the VIA community.
All right,
Welcome.
well,
We're in Vegas.
Let's get it rolling. So a little quick pause at 19:03. Well, hello again, everybody, and welcome to What's the Deal? I'm just getting so comfortable now. Episode 4 here in the Lightspeed Studios. As usual, we've got our guest today, Mr. Daven Michaels. Also, of course, my sidekick, Zach Conley, is always here with us. And we are going to have a really exciting show. I'm really excited today. I said that twice. That was redundant. But because this is the first episode that's not a network marketing opportunity. I don't want to get pigeonholed, although those are most of my friends that are making $1 million a year or more are network marketers. Today we've got someone who's totally different, and we're going to talk about something really exciting and new. So be prepared for that. Daven, it's awesome to have you in studio.
Thanks for having me, buddy.
It's an honor, to have such a celebrity walk through the doors, and of course, people here inside this office recognize you. It took like 10 minutes to get you back here. So famous. So
It's an honor to be here with you, buddy.
I'm gonna tell a little bit about how I met you way back in the day.
25 years ago.
25 years ago,
Yeah.
we met. This guy, this is the coolest cat, and you had a brief stint in a networking company at the time, so that's how our paths
Couple of
crossed.
times.
Had a very cool beach house. I remember in San Clemente. You were, for those of you that are listening to this background, Daven's background was as a musician, and at the time he was Daven the Mad Hatter.
That's right.
And you gave me, I remember, a CD of your music. I think it was called A Place Called Peace, and I remember listening to that. It was so ahead of its time. It was like modern electronic music, like one of the first people. He's, in my opinion, and I think the opinion of the father of modern dance music. I remember living here in Vegas, a big thing every year is EDC, right? The Electric Daisy Carnival?
Yeah, EDC and Pasquale. I would consider Pasquale the father of electronic music. I'm more like the grandpappy of electronic music. Yeah, Pasquale used to go to my parties as a kid. We're still great friends over 30 years, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. I was going to say, I went at EDC, so when I went with you, and it's like different going to EDC with you than like some random kid.
Pasquale throws out the red carpet.
I mean, we walked in, and we're like walking. It's like VIP, the second VIP, this.
And then Paris Hilton is there welcoming you to the table. It's not bad.
Like that gal, I remember her from a reality show, I think Holly Madison.
Yeah, that's Pasquale's wife.
That's his wife, sitting at the table. And
They're
I'm
splitting,
like,
but yeah.
I'm here with Daven the Mad. But that's so, it almost seems like long ago, but I mean, like I was at your very cool house in Turnberry here in Vegas, and like you've got, like how that song goes, I think Joel Wash, gold records on the wall. Yours are like platinum records.
Gold and platinum. I had a good run, 15 years in the music business, a little bit of television as well, and it was an exciting and crazy time.
And so,
lifetime ago.
You're with Coolio and all these different people. Whatever. Yeah. Just before we get into the transition you made from rock star of that world to rock star gracing stages around the world with the likes of Tony Robbins and Les Brown and everybody. I mean, I think it's safe to say you've spoken on stage with lots of people, big names. Tell us a cool story or two from the old days, like when you were. What was it like being a rock star and one of the first DJs and wearing your mad hats back in the day? Yeah.
Well, it was an interesting time when like I said, I'm more the grandpappy of the scene. They always say that you can tell who the pioneers are because they're the ones with the arrows in their back, and that was certainly us. I mean, we were pioneers. And when we started doing it, it was Renegade. It was in Los Angeles. It was in the very late '80s, early '90s. It was '89 when I started. started. And it was all underground. So we would break into warehouses and it was completely illegal. I mean, it really was.
Like the first rave?
The first rave parties, yeah, we broke into warehouses. That's how we did it. And then what happened was, and it's a super long story, but the short version is there was one night, and overnight, my partner and I became the biggest electronic music event producers in the U.S. It just all happened over one night. It was a twist of fate. It had to do with another party that was running that got shut down. All those people came to our party, and overnight, this small fledgling scene of like 500 people or so that would be out all of a sudden turned into about almost 5,000. It was about 5,000. And so we rode that wave. We had an incredible summer, and by the end of the summer, we were filling stadiums. We were filling amusement parks, 15, 20,000 people. And it was a blast. It was really fun, and that was the early days. And then that scene went up and down for 2 decades before it exploded and became mainstream. And so it didn't make sense for me to really stick around there. So I kind of moved on, started producing music and television, and had a good run there, and then 20 years later it took off like a rocket, and it was a blast, and I could not say that I don't miss it. It was pretty awesome. But I've had a lot of great runs in my business career and life, so it's been good.
Everybody wants to be a rock star, and certainly the DJs are the rock stars of today.
They are.
You were one of the first big DJs back then.
Well, and it was interesting, too, back then, Matt. Back then, the promoters were the rock stars. Oh. So I was one of the promoters. I mean, yeah, I did DJ, but I wasn't a big DJ at all. But there were no big DJs. Right. Back then, there were just big promoters. Now it's all about DJ culture. Total shift.
You were a big DJ. You just didn't know it at the time.
I guess.
It was all about being a promoter.
I did. And back then it was.
You were spinning the music.
There you go.
Well, I mean, and then the other day when I was over at Red Rock, so Daven speaking on stage,
yeah.
And your intro was amazing, and you got up on stage, and you're still kind of a rock star.
Well, that's kind of my outsourcing business took off. What happened was I produced music for about 12 years, and then Napster came out. 50 million people were downloading free music. I saw the writing on the wall, and I said, well, what's next? What could I do? And I said, well, I think I could produce reality television. This was in the early days. And I only did it for a few years, didn't have any big hits, because my outsourcing business took off, and I kind of rode that wave, and that's where I've been for the last decade. But one of the things I love, or probably what I love the most about my outsourcing company, is that I speak on stages all over the globe, and that allows me to get that entertainment out of me. I still get to be the rock star from stage, and I just love it. That's what I love doing.
Well, the guy when we were walking in that you knew, he's like, oh my God, remember that one time I had to fall, to speak on stage with you, and you get, it's like you are a rock star.
Well, just a quick note there too. I am considered to be one of the best in my league, if you will, in my lane, let's say. But that is certainly not by chance at all. It was completely by design. In the early days, when I first started speaking, I marveled at some of these amazing speakers, and I thought, if one day I could be 10% as good as them, I would be happy. And then at that point, I actually fell on my ass when I first started speaking, and that's when I realized, okay, I need to get trained. I need to invest in my craft. And that's what I started doing consistently. And now today, I'm not I am the top 10%. I may be the top 5%, but that was completely by design. I worked hard, and I was passionate about it because I loved it. And now I get to enjoy the fruits of my labor. And it was worth it. I love it. I love doing it.
I mean, it's amazing when you guys get on stage and you get an audience of 1,000 people,
yeah.
And then you talk for an hour or 90 minutes or whatever you talk for, and then all of a sudden, like, everybody's like
running to the back of the
room to buy,
yeah.
And you hundreds of thousands of dollars in moments. But I think,
and can I just share a quick, because this was so cool. So you were there the other day. I spoke at Red Rock. We had about 1,300 people in the room, and yes, at the end of my presentation, they jumped up. They all started running to the back of the room. I typically am a selling speaker, although I do keynote occasionally. But I actually had a first-time experience in almost a decade of speaking, about 8+ years. They all went running to the back of the room, and then at that point, I normally go back into the room to continue my presentation. I go back into the room to continue my presentation, and nobody was in the room. They were all in the back of the room, so I go, okay, well, I guess I'm done, and I went to the back of the room to hang out with all of them. So that was a trip. I've never experienced that before.
A friend of mine was there, and I said, hey, go say hi to Daven, and he's like, I couldn't get to him.
Couldn't get near me.
It was surrounded.
It was insane.
So, for the purpose of the people who listen to this podcast, obviously it's cool to meet real cool entrepreneurs that are 7-figure earners, and that's sort of who we have as the top at the top. But now, what is it that that people listening? Because there's a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of network marketers that'll listen to this podcast. you have a bunch of different things that you sell. So I just love you to give an opportunity to tell us a little bit about, I know you have this outsourcing business, which I still don't completely get, because I know the other day I had to jam to go jet skiing because they had you start a little bit late.
Yeah.
But anyway, I missed. Yeah. So this is a good opportunity for you to share with entrepreneurs who are listening. What are you passionate about, and what have you been able to create that would be a benefit for people? Tell us a little bit about that kind of stuff.
Sure. Well, I've been an entrepreneur for the last 3 decades, so that's totally in our DNA as a company. We're an entrepreneur-based company, and nearly a decade ago, actually a decade and about 5 days ago, I started a company called 123 Employee, and we're the premier outsourcing centers in the Philippines. We have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of employees on 3 continents. We work with young, bright entrepreneurs all over the globe, some of the biggest thought leaders on the planet like you, Matt, and we do all the busy stuff in their business, busy stuff, BS, so they can focus on the income-generating activities in their business and the things that really juice them and excite them. Our mission at 123 Employee is to rescue lifestyle-starved entrepreneurs, give them their time back and their lives back, and that's what we do. We do all the busy stuff. We pick up their phones, we do their internet marketing, their social media, their telemarketing, their back office tasks, so that they can focus on the income-generating activities and the things that really excite them in their business. So that's what we do, and that's 123 Employee. That's what we've been doing for the last decade. My business is actually pretty simple. I pretty much do one thing, which is outsourcing. But as you know, August 1st, just a few short weeks ago, we did start something new. And a couple years ago, I had an idea. I wanted to create an association for entrepreneurs to help them, give them a leg up. When I started my business at 15, I had nothing. I had no resources, no capital, no education, no connections. I had nothing. And it was so hard, you can't imagine. Matt, I know you went to college. And English was your major, right?
Economics, but I am very good because I'm
known
for correcting people when they say "your."
Yes.
And I have an app called Grammar Snob. And so I'm very
that's
good
how you do
English,
it.
But it was economics.
Oh, it was economics. I thought it was English. So anyways, for me, I just didn't have any of that. I was a college dropout. It was so hard for me. And I never, ever, ever, ever want anyone to go through that because I know how tough it is. And back then, a decade ago, it was way harder than it is today. We didn't have the internet, really. And so today, it's totally different. Did I say a decade ago? When I started my business 3 decades ago, we didn't have the internet. So it was really tough. And so I wanted to create something to really empower entrepreneurs. So 2 years ago, I had this idea to create something called VIA, the Virtual Entrepreneurs Association. It's all the tools, resources, discounts, education that a small business owner needs to grow their business, particularly one that wants freedom, wants to be a virtual entrepreneur. We made it super cheap so anybody could afford it. It's like $20 a month. It's nothing. But I wanted people to have access to all of that. And when I took it to my staff with this idea, they all thought it was nuts. They thought it was the dumbest thing ever. We had a successful company. Why would we even start something new? It's a dumb idea. Now my entire staff and team love what we're doing. But I had to fight my people to make it happen. But I feel like it was worth doing. And we launched it August 1st, and within the first few days, we had over 1,000 members. So
and I saw it all over Facebook. It's kind of cool how things show up magically in your news feed. I guess that's the thing that you have outsourced, that someone in the Philippines was making that show up in my newsfeed, or how did that happen? Because I saw via, like when you launched it, it was everywhere.
It was. It was driven through 3 things, really. Of course, paid traffic, and of course, our team at 123 Employee. But probably what you saw is so much of our business, or not so much, but a nice piece of our business is driven by our marketing partners. We have thousands of marketing partners all over the globe, and those guys were out there driving it. That's why you were seeing it everywhere, because they were all trying to get a piece of the pie because they're incentivized to market via.
So tell me a little bit more, because I like that you talk quickly because we can get a lot more, have a lot more ground. But it's like, if someone like Zach is new, he's an entrepreneur, or someone listening to this podcast is an entrepreneur. Just kind of give me some of the more the reasons why they would join VIA and some of the benefits of VIA. Tell us a little bit more, because I also am curious, and I don't know if you can. I always ask the 2 questions at the same time. When you were talking about your outsourcing and having someone do all the stuff that I don't know if it's like the VIA is maybe like an entry level, and then like if you're more serious, you could actually have someone answer your phones, do your social media. You drop some bombs there. So I'd like to get a little more details if someone's listening, like how you can help them with their business and being an entrepreneur working from home. Yeah,
sure, absolutely. So the idea for VIA, Virtual Entrepreneurs Association, was really driven by the fact that I meet entrepreneurs all over the globe. Entrepreneurs are the only people that I know that will work 80 hours a week so they don't have to work 40 hours a week for somebody else, right? And so entrepreneurs get into business because they want freedom, they want lifestyle, they want to spend more time with their family, they want Lambos, whatever they want, and instead they end up basically in indentured servitude to their business, right? They're literally ball and chain to their business, working their tail off, working so hard, they have no lifestyle at all. And so I wanted to help with that. And also with VIA, when I started my business, like I said, I had no connections. Today, I'm probably one of the most connected people I know, same with you. And connections are power. Right? I mean, if you have a certain level of success and you're connected, you can make so many things happen. Like, forget about internet marketing. Forget about all that stuff. It's the biz dev guys, the guys with the big Rolodex. Those are the ones that generate the big bucks. I know, I've seen the deals that you do. I've seen you do 7 and 8 figure deals. You don't get 7 and 8 figure deals from, running a Facebook ad. Typically, it's a long cycle, right? But you can make those deals happen. So that's huge. So to be connected, to be educated, to have all those tools to help you with your entrepreneurial career, that's huge. And then you're right. The next segue is, okay, whether you're an entrepreneur or a wantrepreneur, you join VIA, right? Because VIA is for people that are self-employed or people that aspire. A wantrepreneur. Somebody that aspires to be an entrepreneur. Yeah, exactly. So whether you're in either of those classes, you end up getting into VIA, you get the tools, you get the education, you begin to get connected, you surround yourself with a community of like-minded people who help you move up the ladder. And then, of course, the next thing is you need to get leverage in your business. So where are you going to go? Well, hopefully you're going to come to us, 123 Employee. But to answer your question, what do we do at 123? At the end of the day, there are so many things that an entrepreneur can do in their business. In theory, you could do everything in your business, couldn't you? Because of technology and innovation, right? You could be the shipping department in your business. You could do sales. You could do the marketing. You could run the Facebook traffic. You could do everything. Of course, you'd need about 72 to 100 hours in each day to do it. But what entrepreneurs tend to do is, because they have the ability to do that stuff, they take a crack at it. They try it. They sit there trying to design their websites. They're doing all this arduous stuff that doesn't really move the needle forward in their business. It certainly it's certainly the stuff that they have to do in their business to grow a thriving business, but it's not the stuff that moves the needle forward. It's not the highest and best use of their time. So 123 Employee, we empower entrepreneurs to focus on the income generating activities in their business, and everything else they offload, all the minutia, they delegate to somebody else, and of course that's us. So
yeah, sounds really cool.
Yeah.
Let's do this because I'll post a link. Make notes, my son EJ.
Yes.
Post a link.
Hey, EJ.
Because I know you have EJ.
Good buddy.
Have a a webinar that
well, here's what we'll do.
Thing,
let's do a couple things so we can really let people check these out and try them out too. So let's put a couple links down in the show notes. Let's do, for your audience, let's give everyone a free trial of VIA. So if you want to try out VIA absolutely free, we're going to give you a trial. You can try it out. You can see how awesome it is, kick the tires, take advantage of everything, the discounts, the connections, the community. Really try it out for free. And when you do, we'll send you out a copy of my new book. Oh, I should have brought it to show everyone. I'm not used to it because it's coming out right now. My 10th book is hitting the shelves right now. Well, that's not true. It's hitting online right now. It hits the shelves at Christmas. But it's called The Virtual Entrepreneur. So VIA, Virtual Entrepreneur. I wanted to write a book to commemorate the launch of VIA. And this is my 10th book. I might as well plug the book right now. So what I really love about this book, it's my favorite book I've ever written, and the reason why is my very first fiction book. All my other books have been nonfiction. They're usually how-to books. But I've learned over the years that people want to be entertained, right? And we've always come from a place of what we call edutainment. So when I speak from stage, I edutain. When we do our events all over the globe, I'm edutaining. And so I wanted to edutain in this book. So I wrote a fiction book, a parable, to help people learn an incredibly valuable lesson on how to have a virtual business, a lifestyle business, but I do it through a story. And so you can pick up a free copy of that when you get your free trial of VIA. And then we'll also...
It's called Virtual
Entrepreneur? The book is called The Virtual Entrepreneur. And then also, like you said, there is a training that I am going to be doing where I'm going to show people how to generate a massive amount of leads in their business, literally how to generate unlimited leads for life in their business, and then I'll show them how to outsource and delegate it all so they can focus on growing their business, scaling their business, doing the things that really juice and excite them, and we'll put a link to that training too.
So I'm going to dive down a little bit on this. So when I heard you say about the Virtual Entrepreneurs Association, like joining, if you're an entrepreneur or a wantrepreneur,
Yeah.
it's kind of like if you're an old person, you join AARP.
Yeah.
I mean, there are all these associations, and life is your association. Like when you said, like, how do we put together big deals? You know, not everyone can just text you and get a reply.
Yeah.
Although you're not like a hyper fast replier. I like a minute or two max.
You know what? You are awesome at that, and I really appreciate that too. I'll text back right away if I'm in front of the
you
phone.
Were probably in a studio.
Yeah,
very,
doing
very
something,
busy.
or in a meeting because.
Those connect. My point I'm
Yeah.
making. Everyone knows I'm obsessed with like fast response time. But those
Me too.
Having connections with people like you and people like all the people you associate, the people you bumped into in the lobby. And that is what I would imagine with the Virtual Entrepreneurs Association. You're giving access people to your sphere
Yes.
of influence. Do we get to go to because I see, like the guest I had in here last, I met him at a seminar. You know, the entrepreneurs, and at least the ones who are making money, are always going to stuff. Some friends of mine were at Eric Worre this week at a big mastermind, spending a lot of money on bettering themselves.
Yep.
Do we have access to events with this organization?
Big
as well?
time, yep. So we have two types of events. So we have discounted events, which are basically other events all over the globe that have agreed to give our members discounts because of our big buying power. So we have tons of those. And then we have VIA branded events, which are our own events that we do all over the globe. And that's a place to tap into all of our connections. And we're pushing that. We're pushing people into the community. We want people to make connections. I know for me, all of the best connections I've ever made in my entire life were either made at an event or linked back to an event. Where did you and I meet?
At a Randy Gage, it took us because we both were so busy. That's a whole other story.
Yeah, that is a funny story.
We were good friends for a minute, and then we went on with our lives 20
But
years later.
where did we meet?
We met in Hawaii.
At?
You're the one who finally remembered, at a Randy Gage seminar.
Event,
and
exactly.
You were honing your craft. I was honing my craft.
Yep.
And I think this is something that we really got to hammer home, because it's an aha moment for me. It's like some of the people that I talk to that are broke and can't figure out how to make something happen, it's because they're not doing anything. You got to get passionate about bettering yourself,
Yep.
learning your craft, honing your craft, and like the smart people are always at events, and eventually they end up being the one giving the events, but you're going to events in the beginning.
Absolutely. I remember my first marketing event I went to. I went and sat on a hot seat, and I shared my website, my sales page for 123 Employee, and I had the audience of marketers critique it and so on and so forth. They tore it apart, tore me apart. Mm-hmm. But that was a pivotal point in my business. I made those changes and then tapped into it and started making a lot more money in my business. I have some friends. This is an awesome story. I had some friends. They were at a buddy of mine's event, and one of my friends went up to the other friend, or they're all kind of sitting around talking. He said, I've been posting videos online, and I'm getting all this traffic, but I have to do it manually. It's an arduous process, it's taking all this time. And the other guy was like, well, I think I could figure out a way to automate that. He's like, really? Could you? He's like, yeah, I could. This was like on a couch having cocktails at an event. He said, yeah, I'll get back to you next week. They started talking. They put it together. They created a company called Traffic Geyser, sold it for millions just, I don't know, less than 3 years later. And that kind of stuff happens all the time at events. We met at an event. All of your best connections happen at events. If you have nothing going on, go to an event.
That's right.
You'll make it happen real quick. And by the way, one more point that I do want to drive home that you said, you're always so great at articulating things. VIA is the AAA or the Swiss Army knife for business. So just like an AARP, think of VIA as AAA for business.
Well, just like, you guys, you rock star stage speakers are so good with your irresistible offers. When you think about it, it's like, so what you're saying is, here, try it for free.
Yeah.
And you're giving them a free book. What is how long if it's, you said it's like $20 a month. So what do you give them, a free month or something like that?
I'll give them a free couple weeks.
Well, a couple weeks.
Yeah, a couple weeks.
They got to dive in there and make a decision.
Absolutely.
All right. So
smart business people take fast, decisive decisions. They don't sit around thinking about it, hemming and hawing, tearing it apart. We just had a deal that we just did recently. So one of the components of VIA is the 4 times a year VIA Virtual Summit, where we focus on an aspect of business. We bring about 60 speakers together, and it's really awesome. We had a guy on the team. We offered him a sweetheart deal where he'd be making a ton of money, probably, I don't know, a few $100,000 a year. Good deal for him. But he was so busy hemming and hawing and getting caught up in the minutia that eventually we had to cut them loose. And that's the difference between entrepreneurs and wantrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs make fast, decisive decisions. They move forward. Sometimes they get it wrong, because if you make fast decisions all the time, you're not going to get it right all the time. So what do? You pivot, right? Back in our day, unfortunately there wasn't the word pivot, so we screwed it up and we do it again, right? Which is basically what pivoting is. But that's okay. That's what entrepreneurs do, though. They move quickly, and it's key.
I always like to reach out to Zach, because he's kind of just always listening to the guests and whatever.
Yeah.
Just like, what are your thoughts so far on any questions about the outsourcing, the VIA, the organization? What are your questions for
the rave scene,
the rave scene,
early EDM scene?
I got a couple. You said marketing partners. I'm assuming affiliates.
That's exactly right.
What does that look like? How does somebody get involved with that?
Yeah, absolutely. And we should kind of explain what that is. I'm sure some people are watching thinking, I don't even know what an affiliate is, right? So just so you all know out there for your edification, there are hundreds of thousands of companies out there that have proven products or services. They have marketing material already created. They will give you an affiliate link to their website. When you send people to it and somebody buys, they'll cut you a check. And that's exactly what we've been doing at 123 for the last decade, at VIA for the last 3 weeks. And so we have marketing partners. They're affiliates. And we have thousands of them. And our regular affiliates, who we probably have about 6,000 of, I don't know any of them. But I love every single one of them because they send us business, right? I call them my invisible workforce. Now, they don't send us a lot of business, maybe a deal a year. But times 6,000, that certainly adds up. But then we also have what we call our JV partners, or our joint venture partners. And JV partners are just affiliates like everybody else, but we have a distinction for them. And the distinction is these are big boys and girls, and they can send us $30, $40, $50, $100,000 in business in about 90 minutes, which is certainly a good friend to have, right? And these guys are some of my best friends. We play together, we work together, we travel together. My kids play with their kids.
My friends play with their kids.
My kids play with their kids. And why not? Because we're making so much money together. Half the time I'll pay for the travel, or I'll pay for the trips, or whatever. Why not? We're all making all this money together. And I'll tell you, it's one thing to have a best friend. It's another thing to have a best friend that you make a lot of money with. Now, some people may ask me, like, wouldn't you have affiliates? Of course, because it doesn't cost you anything. Well, that's not true. It does cost you money. It's actually the most expensive traffic you'll pay for. We pay a lot of money to our affiliates, but it's found money. We only pay that money when they give us a deal. So why wouldn't you do it all day long?
So
all businesses should have affiliates.
Is it free to be
Yeah.
affiliate?
So it's once you actually sign up for VIA, you get your affiliate link. And refer 3, and you get your VIA membership for free. Keep referring more, you get paid even more. It's not MLM, but it's an affiliate program.
Well, that's good, because if it was MLM, people would think it was a competitor. But it's like everybody in.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's.
We talked about that,
I'm
Matt,
going to
didn't
put my link in the thing. I'm going to get a link. I'm going to
Yeah.
put it in the thing.
Yeah.
And if every member of the whole industry became a member of the Virtual Entrepreneurs Association, which I think is important.
Yeah.
Then I would make a fortune. Is that
Yeah,
true? And
that
my
is
other
true.
affiliates, if they become members, so okay, cool.
Yeah.
So that's what an affiliate link is, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. And I will tell you, if you currently have a business, there are 2 ways that you must utilize affiliate marketing in your business. You must. Because what I find is that most entrepreneurs leave so much money on the table, and that's why they are struggling. So 2 ways you must utilize affiliate marketing. Number 1, you have to have your own affiliate program. Why would anybody not have an affiliate program? Why would you not have an invisible workforce of people that drive business to your business all the time that doesn't cost you any money up front, right? You're insane. If you're watching this, you have a business and you don't have an affiliate program, you are leaving so much money on the table. That's number 1. Number 2 is that you use affiliate marketing to fill the gaps in your business. So what do I mean by that? Well, most people sell one thing, okay? I sell outsourcing, right? And now, of course, I have VIA, but I pretty much sell one thing. And I have no inclination to sell 47 other things. Unfortunately, many entrepreneurs do. But the key is you want to focus all your efforts on your main business. Now, I have thousands of customers at 123 Employee that know, like, and trust me, that we've accumulated over the last decade, that would buy a myriad of different things from me if I only had it to sell to them. But I don't do that stuff. I only do one thing. I do outsourcing. So through my affiliates, I sell other things to them. Marketing services, programs, ways to make money, tools, office supplies, all this stuff. I sell my people, but I sell it to my customers through my affiliates. And the upside for them is that they know, like, and trust me. They know that if one of my affiliates does them wrong, they can come back to me, right? And I'm okay with that. I vet my affiliates. So what happens? I end up making a ton more money. My clients end up buying it from my partners who are trusted partners. My partner wins, I win, we all win, and I've added a zero to my bank account. And that's the name of the game in business, because today business is so competitive, and the winner of business is the person that's making the most amount of money, because that person will outspend you on all the marketing until the day comes when you give up and you come to your competitor and they buy you out. And that's how it works.
I think listening to your explanation of affiliates, we've formalized like what in my grandfather's time used to be like, well, I know old Jed over here, and then we scratch each other's back.
Right.
It's like, you go to him for that and go to him for
now
this.
It's formalized.
And it's like, and now it's almost formalized. It's
it
like,
is.
This is my network, this is my connections, this is my network of affiliates, and everyone's got an affiliate program, and I think it's kind of cool because
super cool.
Instead of the marketing money going like TV, I don't even have TV anymore. I just have internet TV. I have subscriptions to various TV programs. And so it used to be like they would spend money on advertising and tell us things. A lot of times were lies, like things go better with Coke.
Still is.
Or vote for Hillary.
Right.
I mean, they're telling you things on TV. They're spending money on advertising, and you're listening to God only knows whose agenda. It could be the deep state. Could be people that want you to drink Coca-Cola, which is like, things go better with Coke. Things like diabetes go better with Coke. But if you're my bro and you tell me, hey, don't drink Coke, drink Verve or
water,
whatever it is, like you have, and it's formalized. And if you work it right, you lead a good life, and you have good friends, and you refer business to each other, and you just kind of said it's almost like you vouch for them.
Yeah, and also the best form of marketing is referral marketing. Yeah. Your buddy comes up to you, they tell you, hey, did you just see that new movie? It's incredible. You got to go see it. You go see it. You see it on television. You don't necessarily believe it. You go check the reviews. You ask your friends. Referral marketing is the best form of marketing for sure. Right? Bar none. Always has been.
So, Zach, do you feel like you have a decent understanding of VIA? Like, as a virtual entrepreneur, like you say, well, what the hell? I'd be stupid not to join this association and associate with these contacts and go to these seminars and connect with this community. What are you feeling, and what questions do you have about that?
I guess I would suppose, what's it look like? We haven't talked about how much it costs, things like that.
Yeah. So VIA is $20 a month, free trial for your people that are watching. They refer 3, they get it free. And one of the things I just remember that I left out, because I did say it's a AAA for business, we have negotiated over 671,000 discounts on dining, business products that you need to, and services that you need to run your business, travel, hotel chains. So the average VIA member saves hundreds of dollars a month on the things they need to grow their business and live their life.
And is it just like a login that you get?
Yep, just a login. Yeah. Super simple. Yeah, it's awesome. And I think on that page that we're going to give everybody the free trial on, you can even see there's a little video where I take you under the hood, see what's there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, anyone who knows Daven knows that you know what's up, and you know everybody, and you are the coolest. You were the original rock star. Let's talk a little bit about. I was so excited when I bumped into you after 20 years, and we finally remembered how we knew each other after a few minutes over a glass of wine. I think you came to one of my wine events.
I did.
And it was like, I know you really well. Where do I know you from?
Like, I don't just know you. I know you from.
Yeah,
exactly.
Oh, that was the most all-timer moment for both of us.
It was.
And, but then we reconnected here in Vegas. Vegas is awesome. Everyone knows that that I'm the biggest fan of Vegas, and if you move to Vegas, me and my son will find you a place. I'm always telling people on your high-rise, I particularly like your high-rise building. Your pad is the coolest, and anyone looking to move and have the coolest pad in the world will show you that high-rise. Well, but I digress.
Yeah.
So you're leaving us.
You're
leaving Vegas.
First of
all, are you going?
Well, first of all, I will say that Vegas is the greatest place to network in the United States. Would you not agree?
I do agree. I live here.
It's so awesome. And the difference is that you go from push to pull. So what happens is everyone in the world just comes to you on a weekly basis. They come to you. And then you network, you make deals, you have drinks, you eat the best food in the world, you see the best shows. I love Vegas. So yes, we're talking about Vegas. So we moved to Vegas 5 years ago. For a couple of reasons. One is I was in Hollywood in the hills, and we loved it. We had a great life there. And I remember when I first moved to Hollywood, it was a dream come true. But after 15 years, I was ready for a new adventure. I'm kind of an adventure junkie. But at the same time, I was paying so much in taxes in LA. It was insane. I think it was almost 60% in taxes between federal and state. So I said, we're moving to Vegas to get rid of those taxes, and we did. And I thought I was nuts. My family thought I was nuts. My friends thought I was nuts. Moving to Vegas was the most awesome thing we ever did. We love Vegas. It is just so great. I added 10 pounds to my gut. Unfortunately, the food and drinks are so good. Yeah, and you end up drinking a lot more because everybody comes every week and they want to drink with you, right? It's like,
I'm going to Vegas. Well, it's only 20 minutes away.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just so funny. So, but yeah, we love it. But almost 2 years ago, we moved to Puerto Rico, and we were lured there because it is. I believe Puerto Rico is the most business-friendly state, if you will, or country. It's amazing, and they have an incredibly favorable tax program. You basically, the only penalty is you have to live in paradise, where the weather is great all year long. The food is wonderful. The people are some of the nicest people on the planet. So we live in Puerto Rico now too.
And you have to stay there like more than 6 months a year?
You have to be there over 6 months a year. Puerto Rico has to be your home. It has to be your home. But if it is, I usually don't talk about the tax side of it. I talk more about what a pro-business place it is and how lovely the people are and how beautiful the weather is and how you're living in paradise. But essentially your taxes are almost nothing. 0 capital gains, 4% income tax.
Wow.
It's the greatest loophole on the planet.
A lot of people from the crypto world are going there. I remember one of my claims to fame, the few, is that I showed you crypto.
You
We
did.
were sitting at
Changed
a
my life.
Chinese place in Chinatown here in Vegas, and I was telling you about Bitcoin, and you're like, I don't really know much about it, but you had some. One of your clients had paid you in or something like that. And I'm like, that's valuable. But now, like, you're a crypto expert, probably like everyone else.
Yeah.
A lot of the big crypto people are living over there.
They are.
So what are you hearing about crypto lately? Anything interesting happen in that realm over there, and any forecasts of the future?
Sure. Well, it's actually interesting. So there's about 3.5 million people that live on the island, and shockingly, there's only about 2,000 of us Act 2022ers. That's the expats that are living over there. But Act 2022, that's what it's called. There's about 10 acts that are very pro-business. The most popular are Acts 20 and 22. One is for capital gains, one is for your income tax. And there's only 2,000 of us over there, which is shocking because it's so amazing. Having said that, though, it's starting to snowball now. Now we're seeing it. So in our neighborhood where we live, we used to see 1 or 2 families or 1 or 2 people move into the neighborhood per month. Now we see a few a week. So it's certainly changing. And to give you an example of how the word is starting to get out in Puerto Rico, I'll tell you about this. So where I live, which is the most wonderful community in the world, I just love it, I started a cigar club. And so one night we were at somebody's house having cigars, and this friend of mine that walks in that actually works with Grant Cardone, and he walks in, and I said, hey, did you move to Puerto Rico? Yes. He said, yeah, we just moved here a week and a half ago. I go, that's so awesome. I said, where do you live? He said, I live in blah, blah, blah. I go, I live in blah, blah, blah. He's like, what? I go, what's your address? He goes, A9. I go, dude, you live right across the street from me. I'm your neighbor. He's like, what? So if I could start getting neighbors living across the street from me that I know in the U.S., I didn't even know we're coming to Puerto Rico, we're about to invade that place. Puerto Rico is about to just go nuts. But to answer your question, yeah, there's a lot of crypto people there for sure. Everybody is really waiting for the first ETF to come out, right? When the first ETF comes out, I think Bitcoin's just going to go through the roof.
I keep hearing about it. It hasn't happened yet, though.
Hasn't happened yet. The regulators are being very cautious, but it will happen for sure. It should be interesting to see what happens with Libra, right? With Facebook's coin, that'll change everything as well, if that even happens.
You're over there with Brock Pierce and all these crypto people.
Yeah, Brock has his weekly yoga over at his house and stuff. I mean, it's pretty cool when you can just go over to someone's pad and hang out with a billionaire. There's a lot of billionaires in Puerto Rico. Fascinating people. All the movers and shakers are there. It's just cool to hang out with these guys. I love it. It's my favorite thing. My favorite thing is exchanging ideas with like-minded people that are happening. It's just a blast.
Now, I'm just curious. This popped in my mind. What about this? I heard there was some kind of scandal with the mayor or the governor over there or something like that.
Yeah.
Is he in big trouble?
He's out. He's out. Yep, he resigned. I was very unfortunate. Unfortunately, in the digital age, you got to be careful what you say because it can get out no matter what. And I don't remember the particulars, but I believe it was the son of another politician, I think. I'm not sure, but basically he had the text feeds, and they were texting back and forth saying things they shouldn't have said. They were not politically correct. It was not cool. And it got out, and everybody called for his resignation, and there were riots, particularly in Old San Juan. Pretty peaceful riots, but that went on for, I'd say, a couple of weeks.
Peaceful riots?
Yeah, people were
not
protesting.
Like Portland, Oregon.
Nah,
mellow, right?
yeah. People,
no Antifa over there.
People were protesting. I don't think anybody got hurt or anything like that. But after a few weeks, he resigned. He had no choice. Yeah, it was
you got to watch
unfortunate.
what you text. Like, I can't help myself. If someone pisses me off, I just tell them.
I know.
They say you should pause before replying, or write that email and then don't send it.
Well, here's what I do. One time I went, a few times I went off on a few people that did me wrong digitally, and now my VP Bijal answers those. I'm not allowed to respond back when I'm angry. He does it because he's more PC than I am.
I met him, very mellow guy.
Very sweet guy, very nice, very even-keeled. Everybody loves Bijal. But also, occasionally I will answer back, in the heat of the moment. And I actually said, this was actually maybe about a year and a half ago, somebody kind of screwed me under or what have you, and not that bad, but I just mentioned it to somebody, he shot it back to him, and he got it, and this was a friend of mine, and he was very upset. So lesson learned, you have to bite your tongue, right? In the digital age, nothing is sacred.
Very good advice.
Yeah.
Very off topic, but that's what we do here on What's the Deal? Like, hey, what's the deal with this?
Yeah, what's the deal?
What's the deal with that?
What's the deal, Matt?
There's so much to be learned here from you, Daven. I don't know where to go. I mean, obviously I want to plug Via, but it seems so simple. Like, anyone that's an entrepreneur or wants to make money, wants more connections, it's free. So try it. Like, if you're listening to this, I want to go. What I got from this is I want to go to more seminars too. I always get pumped. I used to, like, Tony Robbins was the first one I ever went to. It's like, you go to these events and you meet cool people. Yeah. And it's like, if you're an entrepreneur, listen to this. You got to be in the mix. You got to get out and go and do stuff.
You do. And I will also say, 95% of all people put speaking right next to going to the dentist, right? It's the worst thing in the world. They would never want to do it. They never want to be publicly on stage. But I will tell you this, if you can push yourself beyond your comfort zone, what's great about, most of the events I go to, I'm speaking at. And from a positioning standpoint, it's huge because I'm on the front of the stage. Everybody in the room knows what I do now. If anybody wants to network with me, they know I'm the guy. Again, it's like Vegas. It goes from push to pull. I get off the stage, I get mobbed. And I get, hey, you want to speak at my event? Do you want to do this deal with me? Do you want to do it? It's like when we say rock star, I mean, whatever, but it's like being a star. Because the great thing about, I have lots of friends that are, real celebrities, big stars, not micro fame like us, but like big stars. Mm-hmm. And they, it's challenging for them, right? Getting mobbed all the time. But the great thing, they will always say, the best thing is access, right? You have all this access to deals and people and money and endorsements and things. And that's what speaking on stage does. Now, if you're terrified of speaking on stage, okay, get a booth at the event. It's the next best thing, right? Because at the booth, people will walk the halls and they'll see at your booth, it's like me being from stage screaming what I do. Your booth screams what you do, right? And that's another way to go from push to pull. Another, let's say you can't afford a booth or you don't want to have a booth, you're not a speaker, okay, then participate. When the speaker on stage says, hey, who wants to, what do you think of X, Y, and Z? You raise your hand and you get up and you speak. Many times, especially before I spoke, but even now when I'm at an event just as a participant, I'll ask a lot of questions. And the questions I ask, you can tell by the questions I ask that I'm incredibly informed. Like I'm asking high-level questions because I perform at a high level. That's where I am at my business today. And when I ask those high-level questions, people in the audience hear that and they're like, this guy must be high level. Like, I want to talk to him. And they'll come up to me. They'll say, look, you were asking really like high level questions. You obviously have X, Y, Z going on. Yeah, I do. Hey, let's talk about what we have going on. So there's a lot of different ways to let the audience know that they should be networking and talking to you. And you certainly want to utilize that when you're at events.
Great stuff. So basically what I'm hearing is, or I'm hoping is, for my free 2 weeks or my $20, I'm going to get virtual access to your community, to these connections.
Totally.
So like if someone was listening, like when you were talking about being a speaker, I'm thinking like, I should be a paid speaker and go around on stages of the world. And would someone, let's say that was someone's aspiration and they were a member of VIA, they would lie in, would they have the ability to, what would happen?
Exactly. So let's say you're in VIA and let's say you aspire to speak. So there's a lot of things that would happen for you. So first of all, you could go into our resources and you could find speaker trainers and they would charge you a fraction of what they charge on a retail level. Then maybe you have to travel out and see them. Well, you could use the travel discounts to get there for a lot less, right? In addition to that, you go into the private Facebook group where I'm in that group all the time and you'd say, hey, look, I aspire to speak. Could we do a training on, speaking to sell? well, or speaking from stage or keynoting, we answer back absolutely. And then within a few days, you'll see me doing a training to the VIA community or in the VIA Facebook page, showing people how to do this, giving out resources. I mean, it's literally like it's myself, my team, and the VIA community there to support you, to help you on your entrepreneurial mission.
Yeah, it's access.
Yeah.
I mean, I know
it is.
The people that went to a seminar this week paid $20,000 to go
Sure.
to a seminar. And basically, you're getting access for $20. Makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Zach, anything else?
Yeah, I mean, there's probably a lot. Have you always been fearless as far as the speaking and DJing? What did you have to overcome doing that?
Oh boy, that's a really good question. You know, I don't think I'm fearless at all. I'm afraid of all kinds of things.
You come off that way. You come off.
I do, and I think it's just,
Big act.
It's a big act. You know, it's a big act, but the act is to myself. So I am fearful of many things. Before we launched VIA, I was like, oh my gosh, what if VIA tanks? You know, that's what starts going through my head, and I can't get it out of my head. But what I do is I just push past that. Right? So I am certainly not fearless, but in the moment I am acting fearless, because that's how you do it until such time
it
that.
comes across as confidence. You're one of the more confident people I know.
Yeah.
Like when you walk into a room, it's.
I mean, I am confident. I mean, look, coming in here doing an interview is something I've done a million times, right? So of course I'm not nervous about it. But if it's something new, that like the launch of VIA, I was nervous as hell about it. But you know what? My team was looking to me for leadership. And when you have a larger company, it's no longer about running your company, it's about leadership, right? And so I couldn't have been fearful in that moment. I had to be strong, I had to be excited, and I had to be confident. And so that's who you are in the moment. You know, being an entrepreneur forces you to step up, and that's what it's all about.
Very, very true. Yeah, you know, it's interesting how many millionaires I know, how many $1 million earners I know, and what's neat is that they're all just people. Like what happened
Totally.
is at 15, you said, I don't care. I'm going to break into a warehouse and throw a sick party.
Yeah.
And it's like entrepreneurs just think big and they take action. They're not afraid. That's kind of what I'm hearing. And I mean, you've done that since you were 15. And I don't even want to get into how old you are, but I'm guessing you're similar age to me. You've been around for a while.
Yep, long time.
And so all that experience and all that's been packed into VIA, and I think people should join just because
I think so
you
too.
took the time to come in here. And now I have
like you could write it off too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a
write off
business
the $20 a
expense.
month, but if you're in Puerto Rico, it wouldn't matter because you don't have to pay tax.
Yeah, it's weird. When you first get to Puerto Rico, you're still in that mindset of, oh, that's a great write-off, or this, that. And then you're like, wait a minute, I don't need the write-off. So you have to completely shift your way of thinking.
But still spend the $20.
Yeah, there you go. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And come to Puerto Rico. It's an awesome place to live.
I don't want to let you go because
Good.
like,
I'll stick around another hour or so.
Why
not?
I try to keep the time.
We could do a two-parter.
Yeah.
Or I could come back sometime.
Yeah, I'd love to have you back. Yeah, it's
sure.
just really, really cool to have Daven Michaels in the studio and to have a chance to learn about this. And I just really, I mean, to me, that's been a little bit of an aha. It's like you can never invest too much in yourself. You can never have too many connections. You can never be, part of too many communities. So
agreed.
I really get it, and that's cool because I didn't really, as I mentioned to you, I didn't really get VIA. I was too ADD to pay too close of attention. But today, I think I got the gist of it.
Yeah, you're not alone too. What we're still doing. I mean, VIA has taken off. It's certainly successful, but we're still dialing in the marketing because that's kind of how it works in the beginning. And you're not the only person that has said.
Did I come up with the AAA of entrepreneurs, or did you already think of that?
Who did that? Somebody did. No, it wasn't you. It was you came up with the AARP of basis. Yes.
I get that stuff from the mail. I throw it immediately in the garbage can because there's no possible way I'm old enough to be involved in this.
There you go.
And
but
another thing I think I've always thought was cool, and again, so I'm gonna post a link to it because when you talk on stage about that outsourcing thing for someone who has maybe a little bit more established business, and I mean it sounds so amazing to have you actually have minions all around the world that will do everything for you so you can focus strictly on the task at hand. And that's how if someone really wants to take their income to the next level, and I'm guessing that's the specialty there, but kind of like start with VIA, and then if you want to learn more about his outsourcing, I'll post a link on that as well.
And Matt, I will say too, I know a lot of network marketers follow you because you've had so much success in network marketing. I will tell you this. The most receptive audiences to our business at 123 Employee are the network marketers. They love the idea of somebody doing all the busy work in their business, all the social media, all of the training, all of the marketing so that they can just go out there and bring more people into their organization.
And I mean, that's a pretty big promise, and I imagine that's why people at the end, it's probably only like $1,000 or something, and everybody in the room wants to buy it. 'Cause it's like, and then you got to deliver.
Yep.
But you said, I mean, so you deliver. That must be interesting. You have how many employees you say around the world?
We have 550 employees today.
550 employees.
Yep.
Wow, the virtual Daven army.
Yeah, the militia.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, cool. That. As always, time goes by fast. I mean, that's the deal with Daven, and that's the deal with Via, and that's the deal with 123 Employee. And hopefully, you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. And I will let you guys go. Thank you, Zach. Thank you, Daven.
Thanks, Zach.
And
Thanks,
we'll
Matt.
see
Thanks,
our
everyone.
listeners next time. End of story. Well, we covered a lot of ground.
Was that good? You happy with that?
What did you think, Zach?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
cool.
liked it. It was fun. I mean, I think it's a fun interview. I mean, if nothing else, I think people are going to enjoy it. It's like good banter. And
I'm going to say goodbye to our friends on Facebook.
oh,
Bye, guys.
goodbye. Yeah, sorry. And what I was going to say, and I was listening to, I was like this. I was selling myself on Via as we were going.
I love it.